Yeah, it's exciting. I was just, I think seems like in the last decade, we've had quite a few of our opening games against division opponents, whether it be Oakland or Denver or Kansas City. So it's always exciting, opening game of the season, whoever it is. The fact that it's in the division carries a little more weight, but at the same time, it's big. It's a big game. Obviously, all games are big. All 16 are big. But however this one goes, there's a long road ahead. This doesn't automatically put you, winning the division, or it doesn't do the opposite of that either if we stumble. But it's a big game. I think especially with our start last year, our emphasis has been on a faster start, and that'll be key here on Sunday.
What is a team that you've struggled against the last few times you've seen them? Is it a good test for you to kind of set the tone to start the season?
Yeah, I think so. And again, I think every season stands alone. I know it's been a handful. They got quite a few in a row on us, but this team, this current team has never played these guys, and vice versa. They haven't played us. That's the way I like to look at it. Or if you want some positiveness, I go back to the eight before the last 8, and I go, how about that stretch there? It was pretty good on our end. So it starts with taking care of the ball. I think that's the biggest thing from my standpoint. Is I had 6 interceptions against these guys in the 2 games last year, and only had 4 in the other 14. So it's certainly it's always important. And the game in Kansas City got away from us, but the game at home, he had 3 turnovers in the first half, and it's still a 1-score game in the fourth quarter. So protecting the football is key, as it always is, and going out and execute. I think our team is focused and excited about getting off to a good start. I threw it to them. There's really nothing crazy. A mishap here or there, a poor decision here and there. I mean, there's a story to every turnover, but ultimately, it's just taking care of it. The first couple were early in the season, and then we kind of settled in and got on the stretch there and had a chance there in Kansas City and had the lead in the third quarter, and then it just got away from us. But again, there's guys in this locker room that didn't play in either of those games. There's guys in this locker room that certainly weren't a part of all of the last 8 that we've had our share of struggles. So it's a new year, and I know our team's fired up.
Philip, what does it mean for you to have Antonio Gates back on the team?
It's good to have him back. It was good to see him again. It's funny, the guy like that's been here that long, it was like he never left. It's like he's been here all season and all training camp. So it'll be good to have him out there today in practice, and it's good to have him back in the building.
Hey, Phil, when you look at this defense, what pops out at you immediately?
Well, I think first is just how different when you don't see Derek Johnson out there and Peters isn't out there. It's just different not seeing those guys out there. They were not seeing Sorensen out there even. Barry hadn't been in there. He's been dealing with some injuries. Whether we see him or not, you always got a plan for him to be out there. But so it's just been different seeing different guys. And then after that, you go, well, it's the same scheme, and it's still a heck of a group. And then you always think about those edge rushers with 50 and 55. They can really rush the passer. And then it's just a lot of new faces. Guys, a linebacker they get from Dallas. They get different DBs in there that we've seen in other teams, but haven't seen in this Chiefs defense. So there'll be a little bit of they get Parker back, who we know very well. Who I imagine will be in there from the first snap. You'd imagine he'd been a big part of that success and that run they had. So. You get out there, there's certain things you're not sure how they're going to be and how they're going to match up just because we're not sure who's going to be in there in certain situations. But all in all, it's a Bob Sutton coach defense, and it's a solid group. They play that scheme very well, and we know what to expect on Sunday. Like I've always told you, I never overreact on our preseason, good or bad. I know there's been some negative reaction to their preseason defensively, but I don't buy that. We know what we'll get. We'll get Kansas City's best on Sunday.
How do your emotions and excitement differ now at this point in your career and opening week than it did maybe your first couple of years in the league?
Yeah, I mean, probably a little different. I mean, but still super excited. Even in the meeting today, we're installing our first and second down passes. My hands were sweating a little bit. Just thinking about some of the plays you had drawn up and this and that, and if they play this. So I think in a lot of ways the same. maybe it's just a little more subdued, I guess, than when I was 22, 23 years old. But super excited. There's just that opening weekend of the season. Even my oldest son, he keeps saying, he must have said since Sunday, hey, almost 4 days till Thursday. He's counting down till tomorrow's game, just till the season gets kicked off. So something about that opening weekend that gets you fired up, and it being at home and in the division, I probably even adds to that.
So how much more comfortable are you, along with the team, that this is your second season in this building and the routine? Obviously, you got through that towards the end of last year, but coming into this year.
Yeah, I think you said it, routine. I think routine is key. We're all, all of us, have our routine, our game day routine, our Wednesday routine. We're used to having that. So last year was new, and everything was new. It was, what is our new routine going to be? I mean, I had the same game day routine at home for, 13 years. So that was new. So I do think we all have kind of a little bit more. All that is got now we pushed aside. We know that part and everything. I just think just a little more dialed in. And that isn't to say I felt like we weren't dialed in last year, but there's no denying it was different. So, we know how long it takes to get there. We know all those things from the pregame to where our lockers are to all those little things that and we can just focus on the red team, white, and they'll be in red. We'll be in white. Focus on the red team on Sunday.
You saw how a bad start can derail a season. Is that a message that's out there at this point?
I'm sorry?
Last year, we all saw how a bad start to the year can derail your whole season.
Yeah, I think I look at that as a whole the 4 games. A 2-2 start last year would have had us playing in January. So I think again, no need to put added pressure on this one game. We know how big it is. There's no game that you go into saying it's okay if we lose, and I'm not by any means saying that. But at the same time, it's also, you can't say if we don't win this game, then our season's over, because that's not the truth either. But it's a big game in the division, and it's one of 16. It just happens to be the first one against the team that's been the defending champs for the last handful of years, and we'll be ready for it.
Phil, what do you think has been the biggest difference from Mike Williams last year to this year?
He's healthy. I think that's the biggest thing. He's healthy. He missed almost really the whole training camp. I don't remember what week it was when he got out there, and it's just hard in Wednesday and Thursday practices during the season to get a lot of reps. And I thought it was huge for him this training camp, as you heard me say, was to be consistently out there every day, and he was. And you saw each and every day him make a big play and just be a part of just be a consistent performer. And so it'd be nice to have him in the mix from week 1.
Well, for a guy coming in like Antonio this week, how long does it take for you to kind of get a gauge on where he might be in with chemistry? Is it just picking up from where he left off?
I mean, yeah, from a me to you standpoint, it takes no time whatsoever. That's already taken care of. But I think from a standpoint of him getting in the flow again, it's different. I mean, he's been taking care of himself and staying in shape. But when you're in cleats and you're practicing, and it's a whole different deal. So that I'm sure he'll see how he feels throughout this week. But from a standpoint of confidence level of me to him and him, us being on the same page, I don't have any concerns with that.
How does this year's offense, if at all, differ from previous years?
Well, we'll see. I mean, I think each year your offense kind of evolves as the year goes. As the year goes, things that are working good, what kind of runs is Melvin really rolling in the offensive line, and what kind of different personnel groups. I think those things kind of change and grow as the year goes until you kind of get in that groove. Hopefully, it doesn't take us as long to get in that groove. But so I'm not sure. We've worked on a lot of the same things this whole offseason, like each team, like Kansas City's defense. I'm sure they have a pressure or two or a defense that they haven't shown all preseason that we may see. And much like each offense out there, they haven't shown everything they've run that's different. So I think those things you kind of see as the year goes. But for the most part, we're going to be the same. We're going to be the same style of offense. We want to be balanced. We're going to throw a lot of completions and not turn it over, and take our shots when teams give them to us. Good. Okay.
Things, but I think what we agreed on is that we had opportunity this year, and I wanted to be a part of this family, and this would always be family to me, man. So it's like forgiving your family member and then moving forward. I think our goal is to go out and try to win a Super Bowl, and that's what I wanted to be a part of. So that's what we agreed on, and we came to some type of conclusion. And here I am today, here.
How important was it to be part of this team this year?
Well, it's always important when you have so much skin in the game with a certain franchise to be here. And I think, everybody knew that about me, how loyal I am to this program, and how I've tried to do the things to represent the organization with the utmost respect. But at the end of the day, the business side of it always have an effect on certain things and certain outlooks that you would never understand. Me personally, it was great. The process was what it was, and like I said, I wanted to be here. They knew I wanted to be here, and our goals was the same. I think ultimately that's what it came down to. We have an opportunity of doing something special, and I wanted to be a part of that, and they wanted me here.
Antonio, on Monday you saw your locker jersey. Did you ever think you were going to see that locker in that jersey again?
No, not really, man. Due to the fact of how it all ended, I didn't. No expectations was for me to be back here. I figured they moved on, and I've gave him, the best 15 years that I can possibly give him. So no. With that being said, no, I didn't. But as time went by, things were happening that is uncontrollable. And it was kind of, it became more realistic that I would, have an opportunity to come back.
Antonio, with that being said, how did it feel back after practice today? And third net, one of the last few months, does it give you a new appreciation, getting ready for a game, practicing, finally when Sunday comes to be out there again?
Yeah, it does. I think the appreciation comes from just being in the locker room with the guys. I think once you're done and you move on, I have so many friends here that I've been playing with for a while now, and I think that's what I miss the most. It's just the laughter, being in the locker room, the preparation part of it, and going out and playing with your brothers to try to win a game. So when you don't have it, you know what I'm saying, you really start to embrace it even more when it's in your face, when you just, you living out in the world and you're just a guy. You just, doing the everyday thing that a normal person would do. It was good. Got a chance to move around. Got a chance to hear the calls again. I've tried to take my approach as like my first day here, because I've always felt like I wanted to treat every situation like my first day. I'm trying to learn things that I've heard before, but just to get the opportunity of hearing it again and seeing things, seeing the formations, seeing the fronts, and taking my same approach that got me to this point, 15 years later.
Do you feel like 3 days of practice gives you enough time to get ready to play in a game, no training camp, no preseason?
Well, I've always been optimistic in terms of playing in a game. Whether or not I was injured or not here, it didn't matter. So I think I am well aware of the preparation that needs to be put into throughout the week to go play a game at the highest level possible. But with that being said, where I'm at in my career and all the opportunities that I've had, a chance to enjoy and be a part of, I don't know, it would just depends on how I feel leading up until Sunday. That's something that we talked about. But I don't want to put too much on, Monday through Friday, because it's still football when it's all said and done. It's a game that you go out and play and you compete. Mistakes happen. But my ability to adapt is, I've always tried to, that's who I tried to be, is figuring out how to adapt in certain situations. And this doesn't change. Now, I didn't have the OTAs and the mini camps and the training camps, no. But I do have a week of trying to prepare, to get ready for the Kansas City Chiefs. And hopefully I can make the most of it.
How do you feel?
I feel good. You know what I mean? I feel like you would feel if you missed mini camp and training camp. So, so it's the certain things that you would still have to go through. You would have to get through the kinks and the rust, which is normal. I don't think, I've always felt, even when I was here throughout the training camps, game one was still intense. It was still the nervousness. I don't think that would change for no one. I don't think the guys that was here would feel any different. You're still going to go out there. You still have to get in better shape because you cannot duplicate playing in the game. You just can't do it no matter what you try to do.
Is the more challenging part getting ready physically to play or the mental aspect of it?
I mean, I think it's always been a combination of both. Because as you get older as a player, you know that it becomes mental in a sense because you can only do so much physical. Ability, my jumping ability, my running ability. I ran and I did things, but ultimately I try to use my mind as, the staple of how I play the game now. Just try to be crafty in what I do and trying to, seeing different fronts and different schemes has helped me out a whole bunch. For me, it's just the physical part will come eventually. But as of right now, I'm trying to consume everything, the plays, what they're trying to look for, what we're doing. That's my main focus right now is on the mental aspect of it.
And did you have contact with any other team during the offseason?
Yeah, I had a share of people that called and were interested. But at the same time, I was like I said, I've always, I was kind of going day by day. I had nobody that would interest me more than the Chargers, obviously, because I'm here. So, I just tried to wait and see how everything would play out.
How much did you keep up with the team? I mean, they drafted Derwin James. They drafted a lot on defense. What have you seen from those guys during the offseason and now?
Well, I wasn't here, so I didn't see as much. But I've heard some great things about our rookies and the guys that we drafted, which ultimately it stems from the organization of what we've been able to do over the years. I've never been worried about the kind of guys that's drafted here because obviously we have a high standard. So, once they become a part of this family, I expect them to, carry and conduct themselves in a way which been set, years before they became a Charger.
Jim, last one. Yeah, what are your expectations for yourself? I mean, have they changed at all over the years, or are you still shooting high?
Yeah, well, I think that part never changes for you as a person. I think my competitive edge, who I am mentally, would always try to go out and help us win football games. That was always my approach. That will continue to be my approach. And I think that's the reason why I'm still here, to try to help win football games. No, it's been the same. It's always been the same to go out and be the best I can be and trying to help win football games.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, y'all.